Hello and welcome back to Gunpla Rush, guys. Today we are checking out the Re-Rising Gundam, which is actually really cool because we got it in a solid gold version. Well, almost solid gold, as it has a bunch of green highlights. And actually, if you're not familiar with this particular Gundam and or Gunpla kit, he is 7-in-1 kits. So basically you're going to buy this one kit and there are going to be 7 different models inside of it that you can build, which is pretty cool because you can also combine them all together to make the Re-Rising Gundam. So basically he comes with the Core Gundam 2, the Gundam Aegis Knight, the Wotum Pod, the SDEX Valklander, which is an SD Gundam, a Core Fighter, Uranus Armor, and of course those particular kits all merge together to make different variations. That's why I say this is kind of like a 7-in-1 kit, because if you count all the different variations, you can actually make a whole bunch of different stuff. For example, the SD Gundam inside of this kit turns into a little dragon-like dinosaur looking thing, which is really cool. So we're going to go through this and check it out and see if it's worth your guys' money. The price, quality, and time is something we always check out with these kits. So let's go over all of that stuff today. Starting off with the price. This guy only cost me $88 at my local hobby store. Now this is absolutely insane for the value that actually comes in this box. So definitely I think it's a great kit for $88, but for the amount of Gunpla that come with this kit, it's definitely worth that price tag, because even if you were to only buy each one of the Gunpla inside of this kit for like an SD Gundam price, you would still end up with this mini Gunpla. And of course you can combine them all together as we stated earlier. So let's move on to the quality. The quality is pretty good as most of the pieces fit together really well, but there is some issues with a little bit of this kit being kind of fragile. Some of the wings are a bit heavier for this model, and I'm surprised to say actually that the stand that he comes with, normally these things are really bad at holding up a Gunpla that are heavy, but it actually holds this guy up pretty well, as once you put all of them together, he becomes kind of closer to an MG size rather than a HG size. So he's a lot bigger once you combine them all together, and basically you're taking all of the Gunpla from this box and stacking them together on top of this one little stand. So I'm surprised to say that actually holds up really well for all of that. It can be a little frustrating to transfer some of these parts over because the kit basically will have you build each of the smaller kits first and then disassemble those kits to build the Re-Rising Gundam. So if you're not familiar with building a lot of kits, this can either be a really good gateway into building a diverse amount of kits, because you're going to be building multiple HGs, SDs, and all these other kinds of things, and then kind of combining them together to make this one big MG. But it can also be extremely daunting if you're new to building and you don't want this challenging of a project, because it is an undertaking. Speaking of which, let's go into the time. So for me, it took several days to actually finish this, not really because it was too complicated or anything, it's just because there are so many frames inside of the box, so many of these little runners, that you actually need to organize them out a little bit, because unlike normal kits that are large, like if I was to buy a regular MG kit that was a large box like this, all of the letters and all the corresponding pieces are with their own instruction manual, and it's all sorted out in that one manual, whereas this guy comes with multiple manuals and multiple sets of runners, and they get kind of mixed up in the box. So once you open them up, you've got to organize this guy first before you can start building him, which is kind of interesting in its own way, but for the most part, if you're new, this can be a bit daunting. However, he is a really cool kit. I highly suggest him for any collector for sure, and if you guys are just interested in the Gundam build divers, then it's something you should build. It's something you should definitely check out. He's really interesting because of the different kinds of weapons that come with him. As I'll show on screen right now, all the different stuff that he comes with, because he comes with all the different Gunpla kits. He comes with a javelin that's also a gun, looks more like kind of like a lance, and he also comes with this shield that can be transformed. He's got all these really cool green effects parts that you can add to him. The sword that comes with the Aegis Knight can be altered to be whatever kind of beam weapon you want it to be, whether that's a bunch of fractal beam, or whether it's a, high energy beam or a very simple, straight, smooth beam sword. It's really neat to see this on a Gunpla kit. He has some of the cooler options for swords that I've seen and beam weapons for quite a while. As far as the time goes, he took me about 8 hours to build, mainly because of the need to organize everything and then get this guy set up and that's including all the Gunpla in the box and then transforming them into the Re-Rising Gundam. And so basically you can split this up kind of like what I did, which is basically I took one set each day and I just sat down, did a little bit on each one each day, and that's how I finished this relatively quickly. Even though I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it each day, I did get it done relatively quickly for the size that this Gunpla is. I wouldn't say that he takes a longer to build than an MG, but he's dang close just because of the level of complication with all of the different instruction manuals that he comes with. Additionally, something I want to note before we go is that if you do decide to transform him into the Re-Rising Gundam version, I highly suggest getting some kind of storage container for the remaining parts because there are a lot. He comes with a lot of stuff, which is really good. It's really nice, but it also means that when you transform him, all this stuff is left over. But I digress, he does at least come with one stand for each of the little model kits, so that's really nice once you set them all up by themselves. But when you transform him into the Re-Rising Gundam form, you have all of these extra stands left over. So it'd be really nice to have a place to store these, a little extra box, or maybe you just want to use the stands for some the extra stands for some other Gunpla that you have if you keep this guy in the Re-Rising form. All that being said, guys, I really hope this review helped you out if you were looking to purchase this guy, or if you were just looking to be entertained by some quick Gunpla information and review. Thank you so much for watching, and of course subscribe if you want some more Gunpla content. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and thank you so much. As always, like the video if you enjoyed the video, please like it so that it can help spread this channel to more Gunpla viewers. And of course subscribe if you're interested in getting more content just like this, because there's another Gundam video coming up right now.